Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the show. Tonight, we have a good one here. It is Throwback Night with the Riptide Radio 802 Next Gen Series, race number 19 of the 21 scheduled races. So we are getting into the closing spots here. Practice wrapped on up here, and we are already heading on over to qualifying. So just like always with qualifying, we're going to take the best of a driver's 2 laps. That will determine the starting order for the 180 lap main event here tonight at the Richmond Raceway. Taking a look here, first car, one of the first cars on the track here, the driver with the most poles this season. It is the number 6 here, new scheme of course tonight with the throwback, going back to the Mark Martin scheme from 2005. It is Johnny Barker. Barker here, lap number 1, good enough for P number 2. We'll put him on the front row here, a 22.44 for the number 6. Oh, Barker's going to get a big time on the wall there, lap number 2. That will not allow this lap, so that 22.43 is going to have to hopefully stick for Barker. It looks like it will not. Branham goes with a 22.40. New quick time, Cody Meadows with a 22.38. So Meadows there with another great looking scheme out here in the number 3. Looks like already cooling that thing on down. So Cody Meadows here in the number 3 machine, looking sporty here so far on the pole. As it looks like 13 cars have taken a qualifying lap here. Dustin Coggins improves to 6 quick with a 22.59. Close times, especially near the top 5, separated by less than a 1/10 of a second. Of course, like I said, Cody Meadows right now with the quick time here as we wait for about 7 more drivers to take a lap. One of those drivers here being the 97 of Jeff Pogo. Pogo kind of just hanging on out here. Not sure if he has another run in his pocket or not, or if he used up both his laps, but another car here heading to the racetrack. It is a 69 machine. This is Chris Taylor. Taylor throwing it back here to the Aaron's Dream Machine here. So Chris Taylor here to the start-finish line. He goes on the clock here at Richmond. 1 and 2 going to arc it down from that middle groove. Not quite get right to that inside yellow line there off of turn number 2. Looks like just trying to get a lap here for lap number 1. We will see what Taylor can do here as he will hit the stripe. Lap number 1 in the books for the 69 machine. That'll be 7th quick for Chris Taylor. So a pretty decent lap from Taylor as he'll look to pick it up a little bit more. First lap 22.60. 2 other drivers out on the speedway here. Jeff Pogo as well as Kenny Reel. So here we go. Taylor off the final corner, going to shut it on down. So we now go to Jeff Pogo here on his 1 qualifying attempt, I believe. 97 here down the backstretch through 3 and 4. To the start finish line, Pogo will come. It looks like a pretty decent lap. And I guess that was just his outlap here, as no time taken for the 97. So we'll see if a time gets put in this time by, but looks like we'll tap the wall. I don't know if that counts. It looks like Kenny Reel first lap 22.74. That puts the 11 car P number 11. So Pogo crosses the stripe there, and yeah, it looks like no time from the 97. Not getting another one here. So here we go. Kenny Reel off at turn number 4 to the stripe, jumping in last minute, but Kenny Reel not going to find the time there on lap number 2. Will stay in P number 11. So now we only have about 4 cars yet to take a time here, but at the moment, I don't think it's going to get challenged here tonight, folks. And I think walking away with his first Leaf Guard Pole Award, that will be the number 3 machine of Cody Meadows. Meadows out here tonight, of course, jumping in midway through this season. Had a lot of speed, especially in the first couple races. We saw the 3-car show on up, especially if he can get that dialed in, especially for a long run. If we get a long green flag run, Meadows will look very sporty as he's walking away with his first Leaf Guard Pole Award. So congrats to Cody here tonight And once again, big shout out to Leaf Guard here for jumping on board. So here we go. One thing we did see here tonight with this session is that for some reason it wouldn't go off with a lap counter here. So we're going to have time on the left side of our screen, and I'm going to try and keep you guys all the best I can informed here tonight with where they're looking, because 180 lap scheduled distance, but these drivers going to have to keep an eye on their black box. But let's head on down and run through tonight's starting order for the American Revolution Throwback here from Richmond. Alrighty, folks, here we go. This is what the starting order looks like here tonight. Cody Meadows in the 3 machine, walking away with his first Leaf Guard pole award. He will lead the field to green. Starting outside of the front row, the 21 machine and that Dodge spicy red machine. It is Rob Lowell in that 21. Heading over to row number 2 here, one of the most iconic paint schemes, especially from the 2000. It is the 58 of Justin Branham, rocking the Lowe's Jimmy Johnson scheme. Then to his outside, it will be the 6 car here, not piloted by Mark Martin, but our own Johnny Barker, throwing it back to the Mark Martin Viagra machine. He will start P number 4. Then we head back to Stephen Holmes and the number 90 machine. He will round out the top 5. Dustin Coggins in the 42 will roll off 6th. 7th going to the 69 machine. That is Chris Taylor. Starting P number 8 here. 3rd in points, looking to just improve here and fight it on out. It will be the 31. That is Christian Delgado. Rolling off P number 9 will be the 2 car. That is Nick Larson. And rounding out the top 10 for the starting order here is the 81. That is Dan Dill. Rolling off P number 11 will be the 11 car. That is Kenny Reel. Then in 12th, it's the 46 of Eli Raposa. 13th going to the 30 car of Ariba Caton. 14th going to Brandon Guerin in the number 1. Jason Wiley in the 13 machine will roll off 15th. 16th will be the 63 machine of Max Coast. I won't be out there here. So then we head to 17th. That's going to be the 8 car of Matthew Taylor. And then starting last on the field here tonight, our points leader with 3 races to go. It is the 97 of Jeff Pogo. So that will do it here tonight for the starting order. 180 laps the distance here, and we get ready to rock and roll. As this time by, we will get the 1 to go. Fans are up on their feet. They're ready to watch them rock 'em, sock 'em. Good old Richmond racing here as these drivers get ready. Pull the belts tight one last time. Get that head in the right mind space, because we have a very, very good opportunity to go this whole distance here tonight without any sort of yellow flags, any sort of slowdowns, or we could see the opposite, some beating and banging. You never know when you roll up to Richmond. Gonna plug my headset in here, folks, so I don't think it should beep, but if it does, that's on my PC side. Looks like it does not, so no USB beep, and here we go. Looks like Dan Dill not making the call here for the grid. We'll start on pit road, but here we go. Cody Meadows into the restart zone. We go green flag racing here at Richmond. Field will dive down into turn number 1. Meadows by himself. Everyone 2 by 2 throughout the field. Justin Branham here has the advantage on the 21 machine. Caution here off of turn number 2, as it looks like Kenny Reel a little bit slow, maybe Brandon Guerin as well. So we'll have a caution right away, and 1 car gonna benefit from this is that 81 machine of Dan Dill. Had to start on pits and looks like won't lose any sort of time here, as we'll try and take a look here on the turn 3 racing replay and see what happened there through turns 1 and 2. So we take a look here, looking at the 1 car of Brandon Guerin here on the high side, and down low Kenny Reel on the apron. And oh man, look at that car get loose. And yeah, Kenny Reel just got that left rear on that apron, and it just yanked that car right around. Brandon Guerin just squeaking on by. I think, yeah, he gets up in the marbles. That's what causes him to get sideways, but no one really with any sort of heavy contact really lost the race car. So a heck of a job by all the field there. Turn one is always so chaotic and anything can happen. You have to be really aware. The field did a great job there, including Kenny Reel with the save, Brandon Guerin as well. And then, like I said, everyone else being aware, looking past their hood pins and avoiding any unnecessary contact. So nice job by everyone there, but gonna start here with the field slowed as we get our first caution here on lap number 1. So Dan Dill, first car behind the pace car, he will get waved around here with the 1 to go signal. So that's why the 81 sits in front of our race leader. So I believe next time by we'll get the 1 to go here, and Dan Dill will get waved down around, stay on the lead lap, and really won't lose too much time because now instead of starting in pits, he gets to tag onto the back of the field. Was supposed to start in the 10th position, but tagging onto the back of the field's a lot better than starting from pit lane already almost a half a track a lap down. So, alrighty, folks, here we go. Cody Meadows going to have the choose here at the stripe. Looks like, once again, going to choose the inside lane. And interestingly, Dan Dill, there's the wave round. He's going to get on it, tag onto the back of the field here as everyone else re-racks, restacks, and get ready to fire them back off. First caution here happening on lap 1. And so far, I believe we're already, I want to say, 4 laps into this race, coming up to 5. So once we get the green flag again, we will be 5 laps to go. So gonna quickly here, we're gonna lose car color for just 1 second. Gonna give him a nice refresh. Got the heads up for one of the drivers here to get the paints re-going. So once we go back green, they'll all populate and get that. But Cody Meadows, another great start from the number 3 machine. He will lead them down into turn number 1. Meadows away by himself once again. Second place battle here between Lowell and Branaham. Branaham had the inside lane last time, made it work. Now the 21 will do the same. As Rob here gonna try and use up as much as that inside lane as possible. Still drag race, but give the advantage to the 58. So here we go. These boys battling it on out here to start the race. And Richmond's one of those really cool tracks, especially here tonight, folks, that under the lights we'll see it maybe a smidge more prevalent. The thing that worries me, you can see it up against the wall already. Marbles staying on the racetrack from practice and qualifying. You can see them right there on the bottom of our screen. So that's only going to make the top side worse and worse to be a part of. But Richmond is one of those dynamic racetracks. As we see a couple cars get big time out of sorts. We saw a 31 machine of Delgado. Then the big sideways moment was the 2 of Nick Larson. Of course, to the Rusty Wallace Miller light machine. Larson gonna lose a handful of spots there, but the big thing, gonna keep that car underneath him and keep it in one piece here. As Matthew Taylor, a man on a mission, him and the 63 in front of him, at Max Koss, both up 7 to 5 positions. As heads up, Nick Larson sideways, one car into the inside wall. They continue to get sideways here as Larson will get slow, and the 30 machine out here on the speedway going to be stopped, but he got a piece of that inside of pit road wall. Wow. So Caton will jump to pit road, and that is a tough break to start the race here for the 30 machine. Let's see what happened to Nick Larson here going into turn number 3. Looks like just gets maybe a little bit tight, hits the door of the number 8 machine of Matthew Taylor. Then Larson goes on a big slide here, walking his way towards the bottom of the track here. Larson probably staring right at those pit barrels, and Caton, oh man, that's a big time hit to that inside wall. You see the left rear brake on that car, and then Larson and Wiley make a little bit more contact after that, but no caution with that, so we stay green. So Wiley way off the back of the field. Same with Larson. Larson just hitting the stripe, and the leader's right there as well. So Larson could very quickly here go a lap down before we know it. Out in front though, Cody Meadows leading the way. Rob Lowell in second, Justin Branham third. Top three has not changed. Christian Delgado though, a man on the move, up 4 spots here in the first 13 laps. He sits fourth, and then to round out the top 5 here is the 6 car of Johnny Barker. So a few movers and shakers here to start the race. Like I said, Taylor and Koss, those two right here, the 8 and the 63, 2 drivers we're going to have to keep an eye on here because they have both moved up about 6 positions, both start in the back, not taking qualifying time, and have quickly picked their way through the field here in these first 14 laps. So it looks like Caden is back out on the racetrack here, got that 30 machine using one of those fast repairs. So I think at the moment Caden sits about 4 laps down, so gonna have to get a little bit lucky with the cautions, get probably at least 4 cautions till the end of this race to get those wave rounds, or maybe he has to hope that one time, you know, the whole field pits, he can stay on out, but that's going to be a tall ask here tonight. As we see our leader, Cody Meadows, here leading the way, has led all 16 laps to start the race here tonight. And starting to get into that lap traffic. We saw the incident that slowed down the 2 and the 13 leaders right on the back bumper of the 2 machine down the backstretch. Larson going to do an awesome job getting up and out of the way of the race leaders. As a little bit further back here, battling here between Cost and Pogo, but we get a yellow flag out here tonight. It looks like, oh, it's the 11 car as I quickly got. Yeah, he will jump back to pit road, but Kenny Reel here bringing out the second caution. Let's see what happened to the 11 of Reel. We take a look here a little bit slow. We'll speed up the replay here just a little bit and try and see what happened to Reel here off of turn number 2. As side-by-side battling in front of him. Oh, and it looks like Matthew Taylor just gets loose, tags Raposa, and then a big-time checkup. Kenny Reel having no time to react, and right into the back bumper, I believe, of the 63 machine of Cost. Yeah, that's coming on to the very end of it here. We'll try and take another look, maybe at full speed, just to see how quickly things happen here at Richmond. So right here off of turn number 4, you see Taylor get loose, Cost check on up, and then yeah, Kenny Reel, no time to react, right into the back bumper. And sadly, that contact shoots the 11 hard into the inside wall. That's going to make a long night for the 11 crew. So with that, a few takers down on pit road, but it's going to be the back half of the field. Cost, Matthew Taylor, Dan Dill, Jason Wiley, Kenny Reel, all down on pit road here under our second caution here on lap 18, now coming to 19 at the stripe. So if there's one guy that was pumped up for this caution, it should be this 30 machine of Kane. Should be the lucky dog here and should get one of those laps back under this second caution of the night. And we saw it kind of in the first yellow flag here with these guys, and we'll see it a lot, especially even the second one. You know, turns 1 and 2 around this place, very, very tricky because turn 1 has all sorts of different entry lines. So when you're battling with someone, you really have to be aware of what kind of lines they like to run and be, you know, aware where that car is sitting, whether it's drifting up, staying pinned on down, all that sort of stuff. And then it really funnels tight off of turn number 2. That backstretch wall, I don't know if you guys ever rode on board. I'll show you riding on board a little bit later here in this race to see just how quickly that backstretch wall comes on up, especially when you're racing someone. You really have to be aware of that wall, because if you're not, it will quickly catch you off guard, especially with a car to your outside. It comes up a lot quicker than you think. Right here off of turn number 2, that banking quickly goes away and makes it very, very challenging. And as we saw in the first yellow here, that apron is not your friend. You know, you want to be down there, get the car rotated, but you're half an inch over that line on the apron. That car is going to be a handful in a hurry. But here we go, restart number 2. Cody Meadows going to lead the field from the outside lane, going to fire on off with a great start here as Meadows, once again, he has been lights out on these restarts. Looks like Delgado going to get the run from the second lane. He will go into P number 2. Now drop Rob Lowell to 3rd, Justin Branaham to 4th, and Dustin Coggin here finding some momentum up on the second lane here. He will jump into the top 5 for the first time here tonight. Single file here for the most part in the front. Johnny Barker now completes a pass on Stephen Holmes. That was a battle for 6th. Right behind them, Max Cost and Chris Taylor go side by side here. Taylor down low, Cost up on the second lane. Especially here at Richmond, you can kind of see it's almost with that different lines and what you like here at the race car. You can really do kind of the diamond apex where you enter low, let the car kind of wash on up just a little bit, kind of let some steering angle out of the steering wheel as you come on in, and kind of diamond the corner, because then you go back to the low side on corner exit, get a nice straight run off and carry some speed. Or else the other one, you know, just trying to keep that wheel as steady as possible, try and hit that same line through the corner. As yeah, we see Cost losing a lot of time up in that second lane. He will drop all the way outside the top 10. Battle for 5th here. Johnny Barker reclaims P number 5 here as he gets around the 42 machine of Coggin. Stephen Holmes thought about it for a second there, but didn't quite have the run there down the backstretch. Going to have a good run here going into turn number 1. Holmes will look to the inside of Coggin for 6th. Coggin there will let it roll deep into the corner. Will hang on to that 6th spot. So Stephen Holmes will stay currently in 7th, but putting the pressure on that 42 machine right behind them. Raposa now under heavy fire. Car now to his inside. Chris Taylor trying to get back where he started. Chris Taylor going to be able to complete the pass here and race his way down the backstretch. Will try and set his sights on a car a little bit further ahead here. As we're getting a little bit of a jam here. These 5 cars tightening up on each other. That being the 46 of Raposa leading this group. Branaham right there in that Jack Daniels number 1. Jeff Pogo in the Tide Ride 97. And of course, Matthew Taylor in that DuPont Jeff Gordon machine. Cody Meadows here. We've seen this before and seen it again here tonight. He jumps out to a very, very big lead here as we have to go back to that battle. Sorry about that, folks. Didn't realize they were just about to get sideways here as Brandon Guerin to the inside of Eli Raposa. There's a battle here just inside the top 10 for that 9th position. As now Jeff Pogo going to slide to the inside lane. Here comes Matthew Taylor, and I assume the 63 of Max Cost. So Eli Raposa going to be on the wrong side of the freight train here, up in that second groove at Richmond. Yeah, for that second groove to really come in, folks, we need a lot of temperature put down on this inside lane here first to start activating lane number 2. We also need a lot of horsepower, and sadly, these next-gen Cup cars, you know, still have a good amount with the 650 range, but not enough. You know, if it's a Gen 4 car with a 900 horsepower, we could see these guys using this whole racetrack here. But with the cars that they are, and especially here on iRacing, I mean, we even see it in real life. You get down to that one lane and, you know, you got to try and hold on to it. So top 5 checking on out here tonight as we start to see a battle here for 5th as Stephen Holmes looking to the inside of the 42 machine of Coggin. Riding on board with Stephen Holmes here, looking back at the rest of the field. Looks like Justin Branham, they're losing a little bit of time. We head on board to the car on the top side. That is Coggin here. We'll see how long, if he can jump down and file in front of the 58 machine. It looks like yes, he can. So move Stephen Holmes back up into the top 5, into P number 5 where he started here tonight. But Coggin has to be careful, has a lot of cars catching that rear bumper here. So Timing Tower only showing the time left in the session. That is not fully correct, let's say. That's till the session fully ends here. So not going to be racing for a whole 2 hours still left to go. We got a scheduled distance of 180 laps. These drivers have crew chiefs, have devices on their car that tells them what lap we're on. And right now we're currently just completing lap 36 going on to 37. So already inside of 150 laps here to go tonight. As now we see Branham take a look to the inside of Coggin there. Had to check on up, make sure he didn't get into the left rear, but that now has allowed Chris Taylor with the momentum to get around the 58 on the high side. So as we're seeing that inside lane, you know, maybe starting to go away just a little bit, especially depending on how much tires you still have under that race car. As Pogo also gets around the 58 as well. So Jeff Pogo inside the top 10 for the first time here tonight. Started shotgun on the field, currently up to P number 8. And Pogo's goals, you know, had a rough race last weekend at Gateway, but here tonight he just has to finish, keep on just minding his own race, having smart races, and he should walk away with the championship at the end of Phoenix. But like I said, with racing, anything can happen, anything could change. Right now, his current closest points competitors sit in 3rd and 4th here on the racetrack, and they're getting ready to do battle as Johnny Barker has caught the 31 machine of Delgado. These guys, of course, hoping to try and catch Pogo in the points, try and narrow that gap on down, but these two are in an intense battle for second in points. Top 10 in points, paying for positions here as Barker going to look to the inside, 3 wide down the front stretch here, as it is Chris Taylor in the middle, Dustin Coggin up to the 3rd lane, and Jeff Pogo to the inside. Thought about it, but of course with that smart racing mentality I was just talking about, gonna back on out and make sure these guys get themselves sorted before trying any sort of crazy moves. But that might cost the 97 1 position here as Matthew Taylor goes around the high side. But like I mentioned, folks, in the grand scheme of things, the 97 100% all right with that. As Kenny Reel once again, big time out of sorts down the backstretch. Heck of a save by Kenny. He will hang on to that race car, but those rear tires have to be begging for mercy here. Side-by-side battle here once again. Now Pogo to the outside of Coggin. They will drag race here down the backstretch. Battle for 8th once again, with Matthew Taylor slipping on by both of them there very quickly. Taylor now looking to the outside of the other Taylor. We're going to have a Chris Taylor versus Matthew Taylor battle here in about a lap or two. Further up towards the front here, Christian Delgado holding off Johnny Barker. So those two still 3rd and 4th here, but very, very close to each other. As you can see right in front of here, Matthew Taylor going to complete the pass. So move the 8 car up to 6th here tonight, as Pogo still side by side with the 42. Neither of these cars have a big advantage on each other, so they are just stuck side by side. And it may come down to, depending on the pace of the 69 machine, what lane he ends up in here. Maybe could use it as a pick for one of these two drivers still stuck side by side. Jeff Pogo almost clear there through 3 and 4. I think down this front stretch, yes, he will. Jeff Pogo will get clear for the 8th position. So that battle that lasted about 5 laps there, folks, finally over. Pogo can now set his sights on the 69 as, oh, that Tide machine gets a little squirrely there off of turn number 2. Right in front of him, Matthew Taylor completes the pass on Stephen Holmes. So Matthew Taylor up into the top 5 here tonight. Started a little bit iffy there, start towards the back, got loose there during that second caution, caused that checkup, but has since rebounded nicely into the top 5. Everyone, for the most part, starting to spread on out further towards the back here. Dan Dill trying to recover from that pit road start, trying to get around Eli Raposa. That is for 13th and will complete the pass there into turn number 3. So the 81 of Dan Dill here making his way slowly but surely. You can see the damage on that right front fender. He is making his way up through the field as, oh, heads up, we got a car stopped here. It's the 58 Lowe's machine of Justin Branham. That is a tough break here. Branham running just inside the top 10 here, so we will try and see what happened going into turn number 1. Oh man, Guerin gets a little bit loose, tries to save that race car and just gets the left rear of the 58, and luckily I don't think Branham had any damage from that, but yeah, we'll try and see what happened here. Looking at maybe a slightly different angle going into turn number 1. Brandon Guerin having a big run into turn number 1, and you can see already sideways, goes to save that car, and sadly Justin Branham, wrong place, wrong time, gets the tag, but I think Brandon Guerin definitely got the worst end of that, because you can see here in a second, definitely a little bit of right front damage to the 1 machine of Guerin, as we see the whole field here, folks, down pit road. So we'll head to the end of pit road, watch the race off of pit road, see if anyone does a 2-tire stop. Probably not at this point, just over 50 laps completed, so probably will be 4 tires filled up with fuel, and at this point it's going to be very close if they can make it to the end. Cody Meadows going to be the first off pit road, then Rob Lowell, Johnny Barker, Stephen Holmes, and oh man, I think a pretty long stop for Delgado. Yes, it is. Delgado will come out of pit road all the way in 6th. And uh-oh here, folks. We heard it from race control here tonight. 21 machine too fast on pit road. Rob Lowe from coming off 2nd on pit road is going to go all the way to the back of the field. That is a heartbreak here. Going to lose all that track position. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on the 21, see how he can make it through pits. Also, the 69 of Chris Taylor also dinged with a pit road violation here. So he will join the 21 machine at the back as well. Man, oh man. Just a little bit of more drama here at Richmond for all of us to enjoy. Of course, Cody Meadows here leading the field to green. Looks like Kenny Reel and Caton gonna get the wave around here, get one of those laps back. They're both find themselves multiple laps down. And look at this, Cody Meadows once again gonna restart on the 2nd lane with the speeding penalty. That moves now Johnny Barker to the front row, as well as starting on the inside of the front row here tonight. So field is re-racked, restacked, getting ready to rock and roll, lights off around the speedway. So we are going green next time by. It will be lap 55 of 180 here. So just over a third of the way done here as these guys get ready to bring it up to race pace. Cody Meadows in the Army 3 machine in control of the restart. He will once again go early in the restart zone and get away with a great start. Delgado right there on his back bumper. He will get clear of Barker there. And I tell you what, Delgado, another one of those cars, very good on these restarts. Top three going to be Meadows, Delgado, then Barker. Side-by-side battle here. Oh, man, Pogo gets tight at the apex. Almost gets into the side of Matthew Taylor. Luckily, does not. Able to hang on to that spot, but, man, that could have been very bad there as Pogo got tight in 1 and 2 and drifted right to the door of the 8. Further on back here, Rob Lowell making his way back through the field here. Just about to get back into the top 10, currently running in the 11th position right in front of him. Coggin and Koss still side by side. We saw this behind Pogo with Pogo's moment. These guys still door to door, as it looks like that time Koss will finally get clear. Here comes Branham though to fill that void up on the top side. Branham will roll it nicely into the entrance of turn 3, get a big run down the front stretch, and I think Branham should be able to complete this pass. Yes, he does. Man, Justin Branham looking very good here. Trouble here for the 13 machine. Jason Wiley slow on the pace here. He will get it back rolling, but let's take a look here, see what happened to Jason Wiley as we will speed it on up just a little bit. Did not bring out a caution flag, so we stay clean and green racing, but oh, looks like Wiley just losing that back end off of turn number 2 there with the cold tires, able to get it rolling. Surprisingly, no yellow flag, but as here we go, battle for second position here. Johnny Barker to the inside of Christian Delgado. Looks like we'll get cleared down the front stretch here, as yeah, Delgado will slot into the line in that third position. As, oh man, Barker a little bit loose there off of turn number 2. These things, sometimes some drivers are shifting, some aren't. So you can get into some power band, light those rear tires on up, and you have to be really careful about how much wheel you have in that race car when those tires light on up underneath you. Once again, Barker loose off of turn number 2, but you know the old saying, hopefully you guys all know the old saying, that loose is fast, and so far Johnny Barker showing that. But I tell you what, Cody Meadows once again checked out to another second plus advantage out in front of the field. Everyone else racing nicely throughout the field here. Matthew Taylor in this 8 machine putting the pressure on Stephen Holmes. Holmes loses the front end a little bit there. That opens up the door for Taylor. Taylor, wow, going to complete the pass just on the front stretch. So a great move by the 8. That moved Matthew Taylor into 4th. Jeff Pogo now up into 5th here as Stephen Holmes finally can get into another opening back in 6th position. We can see it, especially as this run goes on, folks. Start checking out the front rotors of these race cars. You can see them actually start to glow, develop that heat, and with that, they can start kind of heating up, becoming more powerful, less powerful, all that sort of stuff depending on the temperature. As we ride on board with Stephen Holmes, looks like having trouble getting this car where he wants on corner entries. Sometimes a little bit loose, can't quite get the car down where he wants, and then other times it seems like that front end just takes on off of underneath him. He goes flying up the racetrack. So Holmes definitely struggling with these new set of tires on this 90 machine. Yeah, Cody Meadows, like I mentioned before here, folks, he is on a mission. Now only a 1 second advantage as Barker starting to eat into that lead just a little bit. I'm trying to ride on board or check out a car here with a little bit of glowing rotors, but it seems like these leaders doing a nice job at keeping the momentum, keeping things nice and easy, and not too much brake glow from these race leaders here. And you can hear here riding on board with Johnny Barker, some shifting definitely going on in these race cars. So as we see our leader here getting into some lap traffic, Jason Wiley as well as the 30 machine of Caton, both right in front of our race leader here. And I'd like to ride on board with Cody Meadows, see what he's doing, what's making this 3 car pretty sporty enough to walk away with the pole award. So gonna ride on board with our race leader here and see what he's doing. And how about that, folks? No shifting from our race leader. Nice and smooth both ends of the racetrack. You hear him roll out of this throttle nice and easy. I'd say we head on to maybe a car further on back. He's just about to get around a lapper here. That is Matthew Taylor. Biggest mover of the night here, up 13 positions. So let's ride on board with Taylor, see if we see anything different here, as Delgado blinking just a little bit in front of him. Taylor, of course, in the 3rd position, but let's see, definitely grabbing a different gear on the front stretch. So the A machine of Taylor definitely shifting on the front stretch here tonight, whereas our race leader not touching that shifter, at least at this point in the run. Further on back, some good battles just to get into the top 10 here. You see the 69 of Chris Taylor trying to get some of that track position back that he lost. Was one of the 2 drivers with the speeding penalty during our last pit stops here. We'll get up to P number 10 here. Rob Lowell has climbed back to 8th. But both of them losing quite a bit of time to our race leader. About 5 and about 7.5 seconds back. So that just goes to show here, folks, what can start in the back can do here. But still a long way to go. Just completed lap 76 of the 180, so we're getting pretty close though to the halfway point. And like I said, last pitted on lap 54. These guys are going to be very close to good on fuel to the end. If we get one more caution, especially just after the halfway point, we'll see the whole field jump down pit road, take 4 tires because they have 3 sets over the wall. Most people have used at least 1 set so far here. I should say at least 1 set. So they at least have 2, if not 1 set over the wall. Oh, big time wall hits for both Brannagham and Raposa. Riding on board with Brannagham. We'll look to the inside of Raposa. Once again, does a nice job. Oh, heads up. Hang on to it, Brannagham. Wow, a heck of a save. Nick Larson with a save right behind him as well. But we saw Brannagham right there, folks. Get on that apron, and that's how tricky it is. You want to be down low, watching maybe the car in front of you where they're running on track, and then it's so easy just to get a tire just off the racetrack, and that is the effect of that. Rob Lowell has worked his way now up to 7th, getting the pass done on Max Koss. Dustin Coggin will follow him through, so Coggin back up to P number 8. So Cody Meadows in his own little area, same with 2nd place Johnny Barker. Then for 3rd, things are starting to close on up here as Matthew Taylor has got to the back bumper of Delgado. We'll look to the inside here into turn number 1. Side-by-side battle for 3rd, but Delgado will roll it in there deep. We'll be able to hang on to that spot, at least at the moment. But he has to be in mind here. Has Matthew Taylor breathing down his neck. Then next car behind them, our points leader Jeff Pogo right there as well. So Delgado has to be careful how hard he wants to race here, because if these guys get side by side, Pogo's quickly going to close up to both these race cars. One car down on pit road, maybe, yeah, I'm not sure what happened to him, but Max Koss down on pit road. Looks like the 63's night is done here tonight. Head back to that battle for third on the racetrack. Taylor gonna have much more of a better position here going into turn number one. Side by side at the apex. Who has the better rear tires on off? It's gonna be pretty even. Delgado can't slam the door. Matthew Taylor up into a podium spot here tonight. He will complete the pass on Delgado. Max Koss doing the Jeff Gordon fans here very, very proud, as drove his way up from 17th now to 3rd here tonight. So he is doing a great job, and it seems like Taylor, that's short run speed definitely there, but it seems like he really comes into his own the longer these runs get. So far showing that here up into P number 3. Further on back here, Rob Lowell, after that speeding penalty, had to restart around the 15th position. He has made his way up into 6th here. Dustin Coggin has stayed right on the tail once that 21 machine got around him. Coggin up to 7th. Stephen Holmes just slides back just a little bit here to 8th. So far, no other real battles here out on the speedway. We're gonna go here, I believe. Let's do a little turn 3, turn it up right. We'll do it right after the halfway point here, because here at the stripe, Cody Meadows is gonna be here on lap 89 of the 180. So as he looks to put the 30 machine another lap down, we'll do that pass easily. Caton doing an awesome job getting up and out of the leader's way, so always love to see that here on iRacing. But this time by here at the stripe, it is going to be 90 laps here of our 180. So that time by the leaders, we'll see the cross flags halfway down, halfway to go. Further on back, Delgado, Pogo side by side here. Alrighty folks, so we come back here, and like I mentioned before, halfway done with this race. Cody Meadows out here in front with a 2-second advantage. Johnny Barker hanging on to 2nd, but Matthew Taylor quickly closing the gap. Taylor has driven his way up into 3rd, has done an awesome job. Another driver that drove through the field here so far here tonight is our 4th place driver in the 97, Jeff Pogo. Christian Delgado here rounding out the top 5. 6th going to Rob Lowell. 7th is Dustin Coggins. 8th Stephen Holmes. Chris Taylor 9th. Brandon Guerin rounding out the top 10. 11th is Justin Branham. 12th Nick Larson. 13th Eli Raposa. 14th Dan Dill. Jason Wiley 15th, 1 lap down. Actually Dan Dill also another car 1 lap down. I believe just went a lap down. Jason Wiley 15th, another car lap down. 16th, Kenny Reel. Caton, 5 laps down. And 17th, then, of course, Cost out of this race as well. As yours truly, as we are up here in the booth. One car, once again, down on pit road. It looks like the 13 machine of Jason Wiley down on pit road. Not sure if it's a scheduled stop or not. Didn't hear anything too much from the radio chatter here, so Wiley might just be calling it a night. We'll have to keep an eye on that, see if he ends up back out on the racetrack. So battle for second starting to heat on up here. As old man Dan Dill here spun on the apron, gonna stay green here once again. As I was just saying before as well, Matthew Taylor inside of half a second of Johnny Barker. So here, probably before we know it, we're gonna have a battle for maybe even second here. As last time by, Johnny Barker was a 23.04, Matthew Taylor a 23.13. So at least last time by, Barker a little bit better than Taylor, but overall from the last 10-15 laps, Taylor definitely has been better. So has Barker maybe been saving his stuff a little bit, trying to make it to the end? Or is once he sees that the 8 car gets closer, he's trying to turn it up? Or maybe Matthew Taylor just had one bad lap. That time the numbers have flip-flopped, as Barker 23.13, Matthew Taylor 23.06, so about a half a tenth advantage to the 8 car. So with this here, just after the halfway point, Taylor gonna get in the wall there on the front stretch. I say we do a little turning it on up here as we see Chris Taylor trying to get around Stephen Holmes, but let's have the cars do a little bit of talking here as everyone's into a long green flag run. We'll do a little turn 3, turn it up here, and I'm going to take a break from yapping. Alrighty, folks, we got to go back live here because we got some strategy going on here tonight. I guess I was mistaken. Maybe drivers can't make it to the end because here we have our first taker down pit road, and it was our race leader, Cody Meadows, in the 3 car, going to go all the way to the last stall. But Meadows, first car down to pit road. They'll hand over the lead now to Johnny Barker. Barker will at least pick up a bonus point for a lead in a lap here tonight. But, of course, has that heavy, heavy pressure now from Matthew Taylor right on his back bumper. So Meadows here back out onto the racetrack, and looks like we'll be 1 lap down, but nothing more. So we'll be all right if we do get a caution, but he's going to definitely have the tire advantage. You know, about a second of fall off here for most of these drivers already. So here for a quick reference, folks, we'll put the track map on the right side of the screen here. Of course, looking at whatever car we're looking at on screen, going to be highlighted in that green here, as well as take a look for your favorite driver with their car number also on the track. So battle for the race lead definitely right there, and you can see where everyone else stacks on up here. As one thing definitely not correct, that start finish line a little bit later in that dog leg on the front stretch. So not sure who's drawing these track maps here in my overlays, but a little bit off with that here at Richmond. Maybe we'll have to see about someone getting that updated. Further on back here, Justin Branham getting around Stephen Holmes. That was for 9th, so Branham gonna gain another spot back here. Of course, started towards the front of the field here tonight, trying to get back up towards the front in that 58 machine. More drivers have to start getting worried about going a lap down. Next one that's in the sight of our race leaders, next car in front of them, is the 46 machine of Eli Raposa. So Raposa here in danger of going a lap down here in the next few laps. Johnny Barker, Matthew Taylor having a great battle here. Taylor going to look to the inside of Barker. Got a little bit loose, but oh man, Barker not able to carry the momentum up in lane number 2. Here comes Taylor, but man, Barker was good back on the throttle, just able to stay in front of the 8, but he's going to have to not make that mistake again. Definitely going to put that in the memory bank and say, hey, that second groove doesn't have as much grip as I thought. Gonna have to try a different entry if I get stuck up in lane number 2. Once again, this is the battle for the race lead between Barker and Taylor. Taylor has been within striking distance, I want to say the last 10-15 laps, but hasn't been able to get around the 6 car. I've said it in previous broadcasts, I'll say it again here, folks. It is one thing to catch another driver. It's a whole nother animal to end up passing them. And not only that, completing the pass. As with these guys still stuck nose to tail, here comes Jeff Pogo. It may be a 3-horse battle here before we know it. Just a little bit of lap time updates. Last time by, leaders were anywhere to a 23.2 to a 23.0. Cody Meadows last time by a 22.75. So about a half a second faster each and every lap Meadows is. As yeah, Jeff Pogo right here in the mix as well. So Taylor has to get around here quickly. Oh, Barker into the wall. Our race leader, big time wall hit there off of turn number 2. Barker gonna able to roll the momentum. Oh, Taylor has to get out of the throttle. That allows now Jeff Pogo to get by. So with that, now we'll see what Jeff Pogo can do to get around Johnny Barker. These guys will have an interesting dilemma because you can see that Army black and yellow machine here closing quickly. Cody Meadows probably going to get his lap back the hard way, and we'll see how the leaders let him on by, see if it slows up anyone or gives an advantage to anyone. Best battle on the speedway at the moment going to be these 3 cars here. As you can see, Pogo very strong on the entrance of 3 and 2 the middle, but Barker once again very good on corner exit, especially down this front stretch here. It seems like Pogo just a little bit faster at the apex. Here comes now Meadows to the outside of Pogo. We'll probably do the same to Barker here in 3 and 4. Oh man, Meadows gonna get boxed in just a little bit, has to be careful. Same with Johnny Barker. He has to know who he's racing against. Gonna give the 3 car the inside lane here. Interesting move as these guys getting very close to Eli Raposa now. Raposa gonna go back on out of it, go right against the wall. So Appreciate that. Eli there in the 46 car. Looks like Caden in the 30 machine down on pit road as well. Caden will get his last stop of the night done. Lap 121 of 180. So at this point, folks, it is 60 laps to go. 2/3 of the race already done here. And right now, still a great battle for the race lead. Further on back, though, Brandon Guerin putting the pressure on Chris Taylor. Rob Lowell to the back bumper of Christian Delgado. And here for the lead, Jeff Pogo to the outside of Johnny Barker. Barker once again gets Barker able to put down the power. It seems like one of the best in the field. Still having great corner exits, but Pogo is not going to go away here easily as Pogo tries the tough pass the long way around Richmond. Up top is, Matthew Taylor, big time moment there off of turn number 2. You can tell these guys racing a little bit harder. We see Johnny Barker's rotors really glowing on the 6 machine. That time by at the stripe, though, Jeff Pogo leads the lap. And Jeff Pogo gonna get clear. New race leader, Jeff Pogo, from the back to the front. That was a great move by Pogo there, able to hit his marks, do everything in his power on the top side to get the race lead. He'll try and set sail here. Like I mentioned there, while we were watching the pass for the race lead, Rob Lowell around Christian Delgado, so Lowell should have restarted second after that last restart. Has since, with the speeding penalty, he had to start at the back of the line. Has since clawed his way back up almost to the podium, but inside the top 5 and 4th. And now Dustin Coggin here going for a top 5. He has caught Delgado. Like I mentioned before, these guys still in a battle. Brandon Guerin here trying to get around, does get around Chris Taylor there off of turn number 2. So Brandon Guerin has slowly and quietly been making his way through the field after that last restart. He is now up to 7th, folks. So watch out for Guerin. Has a big gap here to the cars in front of him, but he has had really good pace here the longer this race has gone on. Here we go, folks. Hearing some calls for some cars on pit road. Wow, Stephen Holmes just got that car to the inside of those pit barrels. So it looks like it was Holmes with the call down pit road. Now Jeff Pogo has taken over this race lead, but hasn't been able to run away from Johnny Barker in the 6 or Matthew Taylor in the 8. Both these guys within striking distance, so it may really come down to how good can you get on and off pit road, as well as when do you come down to the pit road to make this final service of the day. And with cars coming down as early as they were, I don't think anyone can make it to the end unless someone was absolutely saving a ton of fuel. I don't think anyone can do it, but it may open up the door, especially if we get green flag pit stops. Maybe if it's only 20 laps to go or something like that, maybe it's just a splash of fuel, right side tires, and try and keep that pit road service as quick as possible. So that could very much be an option as well. Cody Meadows, we saw it come down pit road really early in this 3 machine. Has drove his way back on the lead lap, but not only that, has driven his way back into the top 10 here as Meadows sits 9th position here. Still the fastest car on the racetrack besides Stephen Holmes, who just came down pit road. Holmes, I believe, at the moment second car a lap down here. As Jeff Pogo out in front. Oh man, Johnny Barker has since fallen to third, so I think Barker had a bit of a moment there. That allows now Matthew Taylor up into second. Christian Delgado, we saw the strong pace he started with, started to fall on back. He is one of the other early drivers down on pit road. Gonna say, you know what? Get these dang tires off the race car. I want some fresh ones and see what I can do. See if we can have a little bit better pace to the end of the race. I like the call from the 31 machine. Delgado, of course, will be one lap down here. So at the moment, first car a lap down is the 46 machine if we do get a yellow. This time by, we see our third position driver, Johnny Barker, down on pit road as well. So this now will definitely kick off some pit stops here before the end of this one. It is lap 136 of 180, so just under 50 laps to go. So pretty much with this pit stop, you can make it a sprint till the end. Don't have to, of course, have to keep in mind how you want to take care of your race car and your tires, but it's definitely going to be a lot less of a priority than we just had in this current very, very long run. Last time we were under caution was on lap 55. These drivers starting to get close to putting 100 laps of wear on these tires here. Is, oh, not sure what happened there. Stephen Holmes, not sure, was very slow through 3 and 4. As Jeff Pogo there, I believe, puts him 2 laps down. So when Johnny Barker pitted, you can see he's on the backstretch here. Leaders just going through turns 1 and 2. So at the moment, though, Johnny Barker not the lucky dog candidate. So gonna have to either hope to get around the 46 or hope the 46 here pits soon, or this race just goes green to the end, because even if we get a caution, he will stay on out, get the wave round. But with the wave round, he has to start tail end of the field, so we'll lose that track position as if he was, you know, supposed to restarting in that third position. So lap 141 of 180, Jeff Pogo started 19th here tonight, has raced his way up to the lead of the field, and it's been awesome to watch here. Matthew Taylor having himself a great run in second, and now with the 6 car pitting, Rob Lowell started in the back on the last restart. Oh, that time Rob big time wall hit off of turn number 4 there, but he sits in the final podium spot. But here comes Dustin Coggin. Coggin has been very, very great as well in this long run, now putting the pressure on the 21 for third. Cody Meadows has ran up into 6th position, now up into the top 5. So where Meadows is going to try and find him out on track in the number 3 car. You can see him, the 2 black kind of circles just coming off of turn number 2 there. Meadows doesn't have to pit anymore, so if this goes green to the end, Meadows can make it on fuel. His next competitor he's racing with, I believe, will be the 6 car of Johnny Barker. And Barker, I believe, sits all the way, yeah, just in front of Cody Meadows. So Barker almost a full lap behind Meadows. If he can make it to the end, Cody Meadows is looking in a great spot on the racetrack. Nick Larson and Justin Branham, that was a pass for the 8th position here. So Nick Larson able to get back into the top 10 and now up into 8th here, as I think we had one car with some damage. Yeah, Eli Raposa slow on the apron on the backstretch, and you can see why. That right front definitely knocked off that race car, so a tough break for Raposa. Was sitting in the lucky dog candidate spot. Now that goes to the 6 of Johnny Barker. Man, oh man, how would this race shake on out here? As we see Barker getting around his teammate of Rob Lowe, not for position. Barker just trying to put in these laps, trying to cut into the race lead of Cody Meadows. But with that, this could open up the door for Coggins for that 3rd position. Coggins is there. They'll go side by side in turns 1 and 2. Lowe will have the better run off the corner, able to get the wheel a little bit straighter sooner. But he will be able to get back in front of him. But yeah, a little bit of technical blink in there from the 21. May have to keep an eye on that. Looks like Eli Raposa back out on the speedway. Looks like Dan Dill done for the day. Jason Wiley, Max Koss all calling it a night. So far, 3 cars done from here. Looks like that time by Justin Branham in the 58 machine, bringing the car down to pit road. And this time by Jeff Pogo, we'll see 30 laps to go. So 30 laps to go yet tonight here. Jeff Pogo out in the race lead here. Still a lot of cars yet to visit pit road. Can they go the distance? Under 30 laps to go. Do they have enough saved in the tank? Or will they not make it? Kenny Reel, another driver here down on pit road. I think the longer they go here, the more and more we see a chance of just a splash and go. Maybe just right sides. I mean, with the single lug of these next gen cars, tires are a quick stop anyways these days. You know, I think it's about 8 to 9 seconds to take 4 tires. So even just 2 tires, you know, shortens that down a little bit. But I mean, every second matters because, you know, the distance between Jeff Pogo and Matthew Taylor, 3 seconds right there. So if he can shave off even just 4 seconds on a pit stop, that could put you to the race lead. Cody Meadows here has raised his way back into the podium here. Meadows up into P number 3. What a drive from him. Meadows last down on pit road on lap 104. Can he have enough to go the distance will be the question. I mean, if he's anywhere close, I mean, the rest of the field definitely has to pit at some point. And at some point should be close because these guys now have over 100 laps on their tires. That being for Pogo, Taylor, Lowe, Coggins, Guerin, Chris Taylor, as well as Nick Larson, all have over 100 not 100 tires. That would be insanity in and of itself, but 100 laps on their tires. As we see here, Raposa and now Barker getting around our race leader. So that moves Johnny Barker back on the lead lap. Now it'll be the 2 car of Nick Larson, the lucky dog candidate. Larson is the next car behind our race leader, so he has a really good chance to get back onto the lead lap here before this race is over. And if we get a late race yellow, the driver that will hope to see that will be the 31 of Delgado. Delgado about a quarter track back from our race leader here. And so far, Jeff Pogo still out on the racetrack. How much longer does the 97 and the rest of the field go? I mean, if we haven't seen drivers split this race in half from 150, or I should say lap 50, all the way to 180, you know, that puts splitting it right around that 130 lap mark. If drivers can make it to the end, they're staying out to the end and committed to that strategy. And it seems like right now, a lot of drivers doing that. So there must be some calls here tonight that, hey, we can make it to the end. Matthew Taylor has kind of lost touch to Pogo, about 3 seconds back for the 8 car. And then Cody Meadows here in the 3, starting to level out here to the pace of our race leaders. Last time by, Jeff Pogo a 23.43, Cody Meadows a 23.48. So that tire advantage definitely gone on the 3 machine. He's going to sit right here and probably be stuck about that third to half track back from our race leader. But he still has one more set of tires left in the pit, so if we do get a late race caution, you know, he can bring it down pit road with those leaders, and then it should get real interesting there, folks. One driver that has been clicking off laps, that has been the 1 car of Brandon Guerin. He has caught both Rob Lowell and Dustin Coggin. Brandon Guerin sits 6th, but both 5th and 4th right in front of him here on the speedway. Yeah, I think at this point, folks, I think these cars not coming down pit road, so we'll keep an eye on this battle. Going to be a 3-car battle for a top 5 finish, 4th, 5th, and 6th, all under a blanket here with about 15 laps to go. Oh boy. Branham got a little bit loose there off of turn number 4, lost some ground on the 21. Brandon Guerin, though, not able to really jump on the opportunity, at least that time by. Guerin, they're all over the back bumper of the 42 machine. That's right on board with the 42, looking back at the Jack Daniels number 1. Guerin has the momentum, looking to the inside. We'll get a nose down low, so side-by-side battle for P number 5. Coggin gonna have the momentum up top, able to hang on for that spot. How many more times can he do that though, folks? Great battle, like I mentioned here, folks. The wild card may be Stephen Holmes in this battle. He has caught these guys. We'll see if he just rides or hangs on out. Oh, that time Coggin misses the bottom big time. Brandon Guerin able to capitalize. He was waiting for that mistake, and right there it showed. Brandon Guerin up into a top 5 spot. This time by for Jeff Pogo, he will start lap 170 of 180. So next time by, we will see 10 fingers out from the flagman. It's going to be 10 laps to go next time by at the stripe. Alrighty, so Jeff Pogo now, 10 laps to go. How will this shake on out? Brandon Guerin, like I said, able to get around Coggin. Hagen looks like falling off here. Tires giving up the ghost. I think should be able to hang on to 6. I don't know though. Johnny Barker charging up to this battle here very quickly. Here's the battle for 4th. Brandon Guerin to the inside. Rob Lowell in the wall. Brandon Guerin up into 4th. That moves him up 10 spots from where he started. Man, Brandon Guerin coming to his own on this long run here towards the checkered flag of the race here tonight. Man, oh man, how will this shake on out? Justin Branham here getting one of those laps back. I believe we'll now just put him 1 lap down. So in the wave round candidate, if we do get a green-white checkered here. Man, oh man, though, Jeff Pogo, what a race it would be for the 97. Our points leader coming in here tonight. Last time out, had a tough race at Gateway. Finished 10th, but had all sorts of problems. Finished 42 laps down to come in here tonight and win. Would be a great move for this team, as now with after tonight, you know, just going to have 2 races left. And coming into tonight, Pogo had a 46-point advantage over Johnny Barker. Then Barker had a 5-point advantage over Delgado. So those guys, of course, going to be really racing for those points. 5 laps to go, coming to 4. So Johnny Barker able to get up into the top 5 though here at the end. He will get around Rob Lowe. It looks like all these tires falling off a cliff here. So everyone just trying to hang on towards the end. Looks like Christian Delgado will go maybe 1 lap down. Going to try and prevent it, but with that move, Christian Delgado going to be the wave round car here. Oh, as Delgado sideways on the backstretch, he will spin it. And so far, there is the yellow. Oh, man. So with that, it's going to be a green-white checkered here towards the end. Christian Delgado losing the car there. And with that, folks, Christian Delgado is going to lose the wave around. So he will not be eligible for it. I think now we'll go to the 90 car of Stephen Holmes. And man, that means Pogo's all going to pit. The question is, if you're, Johnny Barker, maybe even Cody Meadows, do you come down pit road or do you stay on out for this track position? Oh, here's the call here, folks. And it looks like Pogo, Taylor going to stay on out. Everyone else down on pit road to get some fresh rubber for a green-white checkered. Man, oh man. So, yeah, with this, we're going to go keep an eye here. Going to go to a quick commercial break. On the other side, I'm going to chat with these drivers, make sure they know what's going on. And then after that, it's going to be a green-white checkered race to the end. So we'll be right back to cover the end of this one. Oh man, folks, we come back to Richmond to end this race with a barn burner. the Riptide Radio 802 Next Gen Series, race number 19. Gonna end with some drama. I know that for sure. Gonna be a green-white checker to the end of this one. Oh, look at this. Second place, Matthew Taylor, down on pit road. So that will leave the lone Jeff Pogo on old tires. Everyone else behind him gonna restart on fresh tires. We will double them up and send them going. And like I said, folks, green-white checkered. Once we get the green, we'll be racing. Next time by will be the white flag. And then if we get the white flag, we're racing to the end. So here we go. So with Matthew Taylor down on pit road, that leaves now Jeff Pogo by himself on old tires. How good of a restart can he get? Can he fire on off? Will he have wheel spin? We're about to find out here. Jeff Pogo on the loud pedal. We go back to racing with a green-white checker to settle things. Brandon Guerin and Johnny Barker go side by side here for second. Rob Lowell gets loose. Everyone else gonna be able to fire on off 3 wide further on back. It looks like they will all hang on to it. Going into 3 cars up the speedway. Johnny Barker to the race lead. Jeff Pogo gets muscled out. We get the white flag. It is 1 lap to go. Johnny Barker out in front. Brandon Guerin up to second. Rob Lowe in third. And man, that 97 of Pogo just trying to hang on to whatever he can. Here we go at the stripe. This will be checkered flags here, folks. And off at turn number 4, Johnny Barker will pick up the win. Pogo will fall to 7th. And here we go. So, wow. What a race here tonight, as Johnny Barker will pick up the win here. And he'll bring it down to the front stretch and burn it on down. Man, that race got flipped completely on its head here tonight with that late race yellow, but heck of a job by the 6 car, and eats into the lead here tonight. And there it is, Johnny Barker on the front stretch, gonna burn it on down. But we're gonna be chatting with Johnny Barker, Brandon Guerin, as well as Rob Lowell for our top 3 finishers. As Johnny Barker will end up burning her down on the front stretch here, and we'll go back to a quick commercial break. On the other side, we'll be chatting with our podium finishers. We'll be right back here. Don't go anywhere. We got the post-race show coming on up.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we come back here to Richmond, and real quick, we got to watch that green-white checkered one more time, see what happened at the front, especially through 3 and 4 real quick. So, gonna boot up the replay here and see what happened. Of course, tough racing for second here, but the real question is what happened into turn number 3 for the race-winning move by Johnny Barker up top. So, able to get to the outside of Pogo. And then, oh man, Meadows big time sideways. Brandon Guerin just making the awesome move for that would put him second. So yeah, that was the wild turn 3 there, folks. And the move of the race, Johnny Barker around the top side. But first, we got to chat with some drivers. First driver we'll be chatting with is the number 1 car of Brandon Guerin. Brandon, you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here. Oh, there you go. Now we got you. How are we doing here tonight?
You got me? All right.
Yeah, so how are we doing, man?
You know, Brett, we're not too bad. Somehow we came out of that with a second place finish.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I totally got the order wrong. We're talking a second place here first, so my bad, Brandon. How are we feeling?
You're all good.
Yeah, after a second, you know, a crazy race. You had some great pace, especially during that long run. You drove all the way up to the top 5. Where'd that speed come from? How were those tires feeling after over 100 laps?
They weren't feeling too bad. At the end, I wasn't gonna catch Cody. He had already pitted, but I started to reel him in a little bit towards the end of that run too, and I was like, we didn't do too bad on the tire saving, and the car was really good, really good. So
yeah.
I really got nervous when that caution came out. I was like, I haven't been good on new tires. Didn't have no qualifying pace, no takeoff pace, but
yeah, and we got to talk
stuck it
about
out there.
Yeah, and we got to talk about that green-white checkered. I mean, we knew it was going to be intense, but, you know, Jeff Pogo on old tires restarting in front of you. My question even alone was he going to get wheel spin? Everyone fired off, but, man, that turn 3, wild stuff. How'd you do it? How'd you make it stick?
It didn't stick too good. I think I kind of slid up into Pogo a little bit, so I apologize for that, but we just got lucky, I think, really. I just hammered down green-white checkered, you know, get that close to the front, and I knew Pogo was on older tires, and I was like, maybe if I can get in front of him, I can hold him off for a lap or 2, but Johnny got really good runs on the way outside, and we'll settle for P2.
Yeah,
especially
overall,
after being P10 most of the race, and luckily, like you said, in that long run, we were up to P4 or 5, so.
Yeah, definitely had some awesome speed in there, Brandon. It seemed like the night went on, the track got, you know, I should say the night got cooler. Track probably definitely didn't get cooler. It seemed like you just kept finding speed and that consistency. And is that kind of Richmond? Do you kind of click here, or was just things on the right foot here?
But I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think this was gonna go this way. I generally have good long run speed on most tracks. Like that's usually like one of my stronger suits. So I kind of like them long green flag runs. But yeah, if it was gonna be like a caution, like 40 lap run kind of race, I was gonna probably finish 7th, 8th. So I'm glad we got the long run. I got the track position to get a good pit stop, and luckily there we got a guy with older tires in front of me, and I kind of got a little bit of advantage on that.
Yeah, definitely awesome stuff there at the end. And of course, the other big awesome thing here tonight, throwback night, old school paint schemes. You're one of the main kind of helpers, coordinators with this. I first got to say thank you for doing that. I know it's a lot of work, especially putting in the paint schemes and making sure everyone's in the right paint schemes, right? So awesome job with that. The cars looked awesome. And yeah, I'm sure you got some stuff to say about that too.
Yeah, it's really cool that we can all get like everybody participating. I did at least, I want to say the majority of, I did all the Chevys. I know that Dave did all the Fords. I did my own Ford, but Dave did all the Fords. He did all the Toyotas except Dustin's. So yeah, between me and Dave, we knocked it out of the park, I think, and it looks cool.
Yeah, it definitely does, and they looked awesome under the lights here at Richmond. Of course, with the throwbacks, you of course have one on. So what's the story behind the Jack Daniels #1 machine?
So this is the throwback. You would think it's Clint Boyer, but this is actually the year Dave Mulaney drove the '07 car for Richard Childress, and I don't know, just like a simple black car, kind of looked nice, and who doesn't like Jack Daniels?
Yeah, exactly.
But
Always.
and my teammate Frank was supposed to be here with his Crown Royal car, but we didn't have the Battle of the Liquor tonight.
Oh, dang. Well,
Uh,
you won that by default here tonight, and
yep.
I mean, with a second place finish with this scheme, do we maybe see it some more? It's maybe has some good luck to it as well.
Uh, maybe I don't know, Brett. We'll have to figure that out. I've had some good runs here with my last few races. I feel like I've been talking to you more during the second half of the season.
Oh
Kind of
yeah,
hate that I missed last week, but you
yeah.
know,
You
we'll be
definitely
plugging
have.
back along.
Yeah, you definitely have been talking to us some more, and with you missing last week, dropped a little bit in points back down to seventh, but that points battle for even a top five right there in your reach, and like you
Yep.
mentioned, Brandon, coming on strong late in the end. How we feeling with now just 2 races to go?
We got Vegas. I feel really good about Vegas. I like mile and a half. Phoenix will be interesting. I've won there before, so a little bit of confidence. And I mean, if it ends up kind of like this, like Richmond, like kind of like similar kind of tracks, tires, I'm pretty good at saving the tires, so I feel pretty good about both of them. We'll see where we end up. I remember when I won Talladega, I told you my goal, top five. I had that pretty good until obviously the not race last week, so just make it a little bit more of a challenge for me. I
Yep,
like
that.
that.
Yeah, it definitely will be an awesome run to the finish, and like I said, still within reaching distance, 20 points back, anything can happen. But for here tonight, Brandon, walking away with second. So before we let you go and celebrate the runner-up finish here at Richmond, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and have you thank whether those normal sponsors, throwback sponsors, maybe some of those all-important teammates, or maybe some people watching on the broadcast.
Yeah, as always, I'll thank my kids first, Bryson and Brody. What do we got? We got body armor. I'm drinking that down after the race. Long runs. Barstool, Rubbing His Racing podcast. The Barstool Fund. Might as well thank Jack Daniels. Maybe we'll celebrate a little night. We'll have a little shot tonight of the JD, and of course my teammates over at the Penny Stacker Motorsports. And who else we got to thank? I'll thank Dave, obviously Dave for doing all these paints. Thank myself, I guess. Rob, everybody, all the admin team, and of course you for putting on this race. Thanks for being kind of like a race control, calling us down 5 to go and stuff, since we kind of had a little non-lap counter tonight. So I appreciate that, Brett.
Yep, no problem. I'm glad we all made it to the end. Still, everyone made it understand. Thank you for being understanding here tonight. Definitely a little different circumstances. So appreciate you each and every week, Brandon, you showing up. But here tonight, yeah, maybe go celebrate with a body armor or Jack Daniels. I don't think they'll mix too good together.
We might not mix. We'll just have the body armor as a chaser. We'll take shots.
Hey, there you go. I like that thought. All
All
right,
right, Brett.
Brandon,
Thank
we'll
you.
catch you later and have a great night.
Later, man.
Alrighty, so that was our second place finisher there, Brandon Guerin. Now let's get our actual third place finisher, that being the 21 machine of Rob Lowell. Rob, do you got a copy of Spread the Jet in the booth here?
Hey, Brett, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. How are we feeling after that one? A little bit of chaos to start the night, I know, with the good old iRacing stuff messing on up. We get an awesome long run, and then, of course, it's got to end in a green-white checkered, right?
Yeah, that's Richmond, right? I mean, every cup race there ends like that. Man, I wish I hadn't got a speeding ticket on pit road there. That one caution when we took tires early. That just put me end of the field, and I had to come up through. I had a really good car.
Yeah, that you did. Before that, running second, and even after that, Rob, drove your way up into the top 5, but it seemed like those tires were begging for mercy, especially with you having to get through the field on them.
Well, that was really weird when we pitted there. I only had 30 laps on them because I was just about out of fuel, and the right front was 65 at 219 degrees. The right rear was like 74 at 220. So
wow.
I mean, they weren't bad. I just remapped my controls today because I had my wheel reset and I didn't get my brake bias remap, so I was having to go into the black box and adjust my brake bias. And if I didn't get on the brakes just right into the corner, it got tight on me and pushed up the track. So it is what it is. I'll take a third. Missed last week. I'll take a third this week.
Yeah, like you said, Rob, able to bounce back from missing last week to a third place. Definitely had top 5 pace and probably a podium after when it's all said and done. So able to get back with that. And how difficult was that restart there? We know Pogo's starting the restart on old tires, everyone on fresh tires. We knew it was going to get crazy, but everyone hangs on to it, and we end up finishing under green.
Yeah, they all checked up there, and Cody stayed up. I thought he was going to run a groove up, so I went to drive in on the bottom, and he started to come down, and I couldn't check up enough. I got him to his left rear, moved him up the track. Johnny and I didn't get a great restart. We were about I want to say almost a full car length late getting off the line, and Jeff was out full car length on him, and I saw Johnny get a wicked run off too and down the backstretch. And he was even down off 4 that last lap, coming to what would have been the white, and coming through 1 and 2, he just launched it on the top, and all of a sudden he's clear by a country mile going down the backstretch. So, great job by Johnny. Then I just kind of followed Brandon on the bottom. Brandon got by Pogo, and I just rolled the bottom with him, and I'll take a top 3 after that night. I didn't think I was going to have it. I almost pitted when Cody did, and I could make it on fuel. I was good by 2 laps. I didn't shift all night. I know from my teammates, they were shifting. They couldn't make it on fuel on that long run. They were going to be about 5 laps short. And I was just I was banking that they were going to lose more time on pit road. But with like 5, Cody got by me like 10, 15 to go, but Johnny got by me there with, 3 to go, 4 to go. And I was still going to end up top 6. I really thought I was going to maybe pull off a top 2 there on the fuel strategy, but just gave up too much time on tires.
Yeah, it definitely was a tough race and really strategy call race here tonight. Like you said, you could have saved a little, backed off that pace and stayed out there or came on in. It seemed like both ones kind of evened up at the end, but then, yeah, that got blown up in everyone's face, of course, with that green-white checkered.
Yeah, that was just chaos. We all went down into 1 there and got through 1 and 2, and then down a backstretch. I had a wicked round the bottom and thought Cody was going to stay up and, or at least stay up and arc down to the apex, and that's what he had been doing. He'd been running a higher line in, but I think he kind of saw me looking at the bottom, and he came down, and I had a head of steam and just couldn't check up in time. I feel bad for him, but I'll take it. It was a good night.
Yep, and a good night for the points, as we get closer now. 2 races left with you missing last week. That dropped you down to 5th, but now with Frank Zinga missing, he was 4th. It's going to be a tight battle between you, Frank, Steven, Brandon, and Dustin Coggin. So what's the game plan there? 4th is definitely within reach. You'll probably be the 4th place point sitter here. And, 2 races to go. Las Vegas, Phoenix, how we feeling?
Pretty good. Las Vegas, I should be able to get top 5, and Phoenix is one of my best tracks. We raced here a couple seasons ago, and I won that, and I won by a pretty good margin. So, really like Phoenix. Looking forward to it, but looking forward to Vegas next week too. So, if I can come out, I'm gonna shoot for top 3s and see where it all ends up at the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. We'll probably be talking to you at some point still left in the future, but here tonight, Rob, walking away with 3rd. So before we let you go, celebrate a podium finish here for you. I'm going to go hand over the mic to you here and have you thank who you got to thank. Really cool cars on track. Always an awesome thing with the Throwback. I do have to mention that. But also give you a chance to thank sponsors, maybe the Throwback sponsors, people watching at home, and, of course, those all-important teammates.
Yeah, I just want to thank Brandon and Dave. Dave Lamont and Brandon Grant. They did these Throwback paints. Did a great job on them. They looked awesome. I know Stephen Holmes did his own, the Sterling Marlin Coors Light car. That looked awesome. So shout out to him. Really, really great looking car, and it was right to the race. I want to thank our sponsors, Leaf Guard for the pole award, Riptide Radio for the series. And then a shout out to Roger and Linda. They watch me faithfully every week, and my aunt and her husband. And I'm gonna get ready to go to bed. I gotta be up at 2:00, so it's gonna be a short night. But we're gonna have a quick admin meeting, review the end of the race, and get it official. With finish positions because a little bit of chaos there. But yeah, thank you for Turn 3 Radio Racing Network. You're the last one of the network running our races here. Roger's done for this till next November, so get 2 more races, then we'll give you about a month off, and we'll come back for the summer series.
Yep, for sure. Get right back on it. I'm looking forward to that. So, Rob, have a great night. Hopefully you get a little bit of sleep here, and hopefully that meeting goes well for you, my man. So have a great one, Rob.
Okay.
All righty, folks. That was Rob Lowell finishing in the 3rd position. And now we head to our race winner. Going to extend his points in 2nd. It is the 6th car of Johnny Barker. Johnny, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
No, I got you, Brett.
All righty, man. A crazy race here at Richmond from the start with the session. A super long run, and then of course we got to end in a green-white checkered, right? Richmond under the lights, of course, has to end that way.
Yeah, it was man, that was a blast. That was a blast at the end there, for sure.
Yeah, that it was. We'll start at the beginning of the night. You know, Johnny qualified 4th, had some good pace there, and then through that race, 2 early kind of cautions, and then a very, very long run. I assume you couldn't make it to the end on fuel like a few other drivers. What was the strategy call? How stressful was that?
Yeah, I thought my night was gonna be over for sure. I wasn't even thinking about fuel, and my teammate there, Rob, he said, yeah, I got enough to make it. I'm 2 laps good, and he wasn't downshifting that whole run, and I of course was downshifting. So I was like, man, I'm in trouble. So I checked it, and yeah, I was about 6 laps short. So I knew I wasn't going to make that up, trying to save fuel. So I went ahead and pitted, and I figured for sure it was over then. But it stayed green, and I just run it hard as I could. I was about halfway through that last run. I was thinking, I said, well, maybe I can, I'd get a top 5. I'd be happy. And then, of course, I think I got 4th maybe. When the caution come out.
Yeah, I mean, even with the pit stop, Johnny, you're able to drive your way back through the field, unlap yourself, and like you mentioned, drive your way into the top 5. I mean, how were the tires feeling? All that fun stuff, as well as if we didn't have that yellow, was 4th still all right with all things considered?
Yeah, it would have been close if I'd have got to Brandon. Once I got to 5th or 4th, whether it was there, I think you had said 2 laps to go. So it'd have been, I was going to push it hard, but I done wore my tires out. From the time I pitted, I run just as hard as I could, trying to unlap myself and then make up some ground. So my tires was shot there at the end. I could have got Brandon, it would have been close. But like I said, I done made up my mind. I wasn't going to push it too hard, and because I knew Christian had a little bit of trouble, so want to get a little bit of breathing room on the point, so I didn't want to wreck it, so I was pretty content running where I was the last couple laps.
Yeah, and able to then get that late race green-white checkered, and we thought there was going to be 2 cars on the front row with old tires, Matthew as well as Jeff. Then Matt pits late, and that put you on the front row. I mean, what was going through your mind there? You probably knew you had to send it, but that second lane seemed really tough, especially with the marbles.
Yeah, it was. I was actually real surprised that Jeff didn't pick the outside, or at least for me all night. Seemed like when we restarted, you could get away running that outside line a lap or 2. It was fast. So when he didn't, when he didn't take that outside, I was real surprised.
Yeah, definitely a call. Maybe the more defensive call, let's say, able to keep a car from your inside, and have someone take you out that way. But we knew probably he wasn't going to be seen good. But yeah, able to get an incredible run on the high side, Johnny, especially through 3 and 4. and check on out. Where'd that speed come from? Did you say, I hope it sticks, and just sailed it on in there?
I told Rob and them in the chat a minute ago, I was like, I did not think it was going to stick. I drove it in there harder than I drove it all night. And it pushed up a little bit, but it stuck way better than I thought. And I was able to get a dang good run coming off. So, yeah, it was one of them, send it and hope it sticks.
Yeah, and that it did, Johnny. And now you go on a 2-win race streak, as well as, I believe last 4 races on the podium. How does that feel coming into your own late in the season? And most importantly, eating away at the Jeff Pogo points, as well as you putting some distance between Delgado.
Yeah, I'm real happy with these last few weeks. Really about the last month, about the last 4 weeks. Really, like I said, I updated my wheel, and I think that's what helped me the most. But yeah, I've been real pleased with the runs I've been doing, and I'd like to get 2 more.
Yeah, definitely have a chance at 2 more, Vegas and Phoenix. I'm sure we talked a little bit before, but once again, how are we feeling about those last 2 tracks on this season calendar?
Yeah, if I had to pick between the 2, I think Vegas is probably be my better one. Phoenix, I'm fair there. I don't think I'm too good there, so I'm gonna have to do some practice there for sure. But Vegas, I should be decent there. I'd be happy with top 5.
Yeah, definitely would be an awesome way to finish off the season here. And of course, Johnny, here tonight, running something a little bit special, some throwback nights. And of course, the 6-car thrown back to the actual 6-car of Mark Martin. Any extra stories with that? What's the backstory with all that fun stuff?
I actually, we had another teammate. I mean, he wasn't a teammate. I'm sorry, another member that used to always. He was a diehard Mark Martin fan. So anytime there was a throwback race, pretty much this whole league, he always got the choice of it. So as soon as he dropped out, I knew. I told, well, I'm having a brain fart here. But I told Dave, I said, hey, you know who I want, so don't even post it. That's who I want. So he knew anyhow, and yeah, Dave done an excellent job on making these paints, and Brandon. But getting back to the Mark Martin, yeah, so I was real pleased to be able to run the car this week and actually get a win with my favorite driver's car. It was awesome.
Yeah, definitely awesome stuff. Making Mark Martin proud, parking that 6 machine down in victory lane here, Johnny, and going 2 in a row. Now win number 4 of the season. 1 more, and you tie Jeff Pogo with the most wins on the season.
Yeah, that's actually, I think, you never know what's going to happen, but I think the points thing's kind of out of it, but you never know what'll happen. But that's kind of my own personal goal. I'd like to get the most wins this year. So we'll see.
Yep, definitely within striking distance with 2 races to go. But so Johnny, here tonight at Richmond, you walk away with the checkered flag with an exciting finish. So before we let you go, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you one last time here down in victory lane and have you thank who you got to thank, whether it's normal sponsors, the special throwback sponsors, those all important teammates, or maybe some people watching at home as well.
Yeah, definitely want to thank all the lead sponsors. Like always, helping Rob put this on, all the admins. Definitely want to give a special thanks to Brandon and Dave for the throwback schemes. They look good. They did a real good job. Definitely want to give a shout out to my teammates. Rob, I think he finish 3rd. So I think this is maybe the second time maybe we finished podium. So, but definitely want to thank my teammates for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All important things here that makes people, better racers, especially on the sim, as well as even, for people, all those friendships that we can make here on iRacing. It definitely goes a long way. So, Johnny, we'll let you go. Continue to celebrate the win down here tonight. And you, my man, have a great rest of your night.
All right. Thank you, Brett.
All righty, folks. That was Johnny Barker, our race winner here from Richmond. So that will do it for the post-race interviews. And, folks, with this session still being goofy and whatnot, we actually don't have the full race results here tonight. Won't, of course, load on up or do anything like that. So we will have the finishing results to kick off next week at Las Vegas. It'll be same time, same place on the Turn 3 Racing Network, kicking off at 7 o'clock. We'll start the night going over the race results from here, making sure everyone's in the right spot. So sorry we can't have it here tonight, but iRacing doing classic iRacing things. So with that, we got to give a big shout out to all the league sponsors here with the 802 Next Gen, well, the 802 iRacing League, guys. And of course, the main one being Riptide Radio, some of the best beach and boogie music from North Myrtle Beach. You can check them out with the QR scanner. That'll take you to their app, or click the first link in the description. That'll take you over there. We also got to give a big shout out to Leaf Guard with the pole award here. Cody Meadows walking away with that here tonight, as well as BG Graphix for the awesome job on the paints here tonight, as well as coming in with the points fund. Of course, Out of the Woods Crafts, Stone, and GStone Motorsports, as well as DTL Customs. We haven't seen Dave in a little bit, but I have to give him a big, big shout out here tonight for all the awesome throwback schemes and all the cool cars we got to enjoy. So thanks again, Dave. We do appreciate you. Also with Turn 3 Racing Network, we are partnered with Premier Setups. You can check that out also with a link in the description. I'll take you over to their website. Show that you guys can support them as they support us. It makes it all that much better here, folks. And I would really appreciate it. Even if you don't want to buy anything, a quick click would go a long way. So that has been it here at Turn 3. A lot of great racing throughout the week. Be sure to tune on in, as well as it's going to get a little bit lighter during the summer. People have real life racing, all that sort of stuff, but we'll try and still be around here in my own world. So once again, got to give a big shout out to all the live viewers, all the replay viewers. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys, Kenny and Christian in the chat, as well as all these racers here tonight. Having these technical difficulties can get really challenging. Everyone did a great job with that. Really want to appreciate each and every one of them. So I've been Brett the Jet in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network. Be sure to tune in next Sunday. We have the penultimate race at Las Vegas. Then in 2 weeks, season finale. Won't want to miss either of those. So everyone, take care. Have a great night. Hopefully you guys all had a happy Easter if you celebrate that. I know I did. Had a great time with the family. Always great to see them. So hopefully you guys all doing well. All your families are as well. Best wishes to each and every one of you. And once again, I've been Brett the Jet in the booth, and I flew by you. Have a good one.